When I tell people today I am a multi-millionaire, they see the success, the money, the influence, but they don't see the 20 rejections before my first job. They don't see the 100 meetings where no one believed in my vision. They don't see how I failed in school, not once, but many times. And they certainly don't see the nights I stayed awake wondering if I was good enough, if I should give up. Let me be clear. I didn't become a multi-millionaire because I was the smartest. I became one because I never gave up. I saw every failure as a lesson, every rejection as redirection, every obstacle as opportunity. People told me, Jack, you don't look like a businessman. I said, that's okay, I'll look like the future. I didn't wait for someone to open the door. I built my own, and if I couldn't build it, I knocked until someone opened theirs. You see, being a multi-millionaire is not about having money. It's about having the mindset, the heart, the persistence. It's about daring to dream big when everyone around you thinks small. It's about starting when you have nothing and still believing that something great can happen because you refuse to stop. So today, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to show you if I can become a multi-millionaire, an English teacher with no money, no background, no connections, then you have no excuse. Because greatness is not born, it's built. One painful, patient, persistent step at a time. Success comes from persistence, not perfection. This is a truth most people overlook. In a world obsessed with flawless plans and perfect outcomes, we forget that real progress is often messy, full of failures, and anything but perfect. Many people believe that they need to be the smartest, the most talented, or the most connected to succeed. But I've seen with my own eyes and experienced in my own life that success belongs to the one who refuses to quit. It belongs to the person who wakes up after failure and says, I will try again. That is the person who eventually wins, not because they never failed, but because they never surrendered to failure. Most people are paralyzed by the fear of not being perfect. They spend so much time preparing, analyzing, planning, waiting for the right time, the perfect opportunity. And while they wait, someone else is out there stumbling forward, learning by doing, failing forward. That person gains wisdom, strength, and experience, not by thinking about success, but by trying and failing and trying again. I was not a perfect student. I failed my university entrance exams twice. My English was poor, my math was worse. I was rejected by over 30 jobs, including KFC. But I never allowed those rejections to define me. I allowed them to refine me. Because every rejection became part of the story that would shape me into someone stronger than the person who first applied. Perfection is often a mask people wear to avoid the discomfort of failure. But the truth is, perfection is not real. It's an illusion. There will always be something to fix, something to improve, something to learn. And if you wait until everything is perfect before you take your first step, you will never move. The world doesn't reward perfection. It rewards action. It rewards courage. It rewards those who are willing to get up even when the odds are against them and keep going. Persistence is the discipline of continuing when most people would quit. It's waking up and trying again after the door has been slammed in your face. It's building something from nothing when others only see risk. It's starting over even when you're tired, broke, and afraid. Success requires a stubborn belief that even if things are hard now, they won't always be. And that belief is not based on a perfect plan. It's based on persistent action. When I started Alibaba, I didn't have money. I didn't have technical knowledge. I didn't even fully understand how the internet worked. But I had a dream and the stubbornness to pursue it every single day. I convinced 17 friends to invest in an idea they couldn't even understand because I had faith that something better was possible. Not because I was perfect, but because I was persistent. Look at anyone who has succeeded in any field. You will always find a history of failure and a pattern of persistence. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who got it right the first time. They are the ones who got it wrong again and again, but learned, adapted, and moved forward each time. They made mistakes, they took hits, they faced doubt from others, but they didn't stop. And eventually, those failures became stepping stones to success. When people ask me, Jack, what's the secret to your success? I tell them it's not a secret. It's simple. I kept going when it didn't make sense to. I pushed forward when it hurt. I showed up even when I was embarrassed, even when I was rejected, even when I was doubted. I didn't aim to be perfect. I aimed to be better than yesterday. And over time, better than yesterday adds up to something powerful. It adds up to results. It adds up to wisdom. It adds up to success. So many people are capable of achieving great things, but they are waiting for perfect conditions, the perfect moment, or the perfect version of themselves. But greatness doesn't begin with perfection. It begins with courage. It begins with grit. It begins with the decision to keep going, no matter how imperfect the journey looks. Rejection is not the end. It's the beginning of redirection. Every successful person has a story filled with rejection, but those rejections didn't destroy them. They refined their purpose. Most people think when someone says no to them, it means they're not good enough, that their dream is over. But that's not true. A no from one person often leads you to the right yes from someone else. Rejection is like a signpost that points you away from something that wasn't meant for you towards something that is. The difference between people who succeed and people who give up is how they interpret rejection. Some take it personally and stop trying. Others take it as feedback and move forward with even more determination. When I was applying for jobs, I was rejected over and over again. I still remember when I applied to KFC in my hometown. There were 24 people who applied, and 23 of them were hired. I was the only one rejected. That moment could have broken my confidence. It could have convinced me that I was unworthy. But instead, I learned something powerful. Just because someone doesn't see your value doesn't mean you have no value. They may not understand your vision. They may not be capable of recognizing your uniqueness. But that doesn't define you. It defines them. Rejection simply means that your journey is meant to take a different road, a better one. I also faced rejection when I was trying to build Alibaba. Investors didn't understand the internet. They didn't believe in e-commerce in China. Some laughed at the idea. Others ignored me completely. I had more than 10 meetings where people looked at me like I was crazy. But I believed in what I was building, and I knew that rejection was part of the process. Every time someone said no, I used it as fuel. I studied why they didn't believe. I worked harder to refine the vision. I got sharper, more focused, more persistent. Those rejections didn't slow me down. They pushed me to grow. Without those no's, I might not have developed the strength needed to build something truly great. Rejection is painful, yes. It stings. It can make you question yourself, but it also has the power to build resilience. It teaches you how to stand on your own. It forces you to define your identity not by other people's approval, but by your own inner drive. The earlier you learn to embrace rejection, the faster you grow. Because rejection is not failure, it's feedback. It shows you where to improve. It tells you what the world is ready for and what it isn't. It helps you sharpen your message, your strategy, your mindset. Too many people quit after being told no a few times. They lose confidence and shrink their dreams. But the truth is, rejection often means you're thinking bigger than others. It means you see possibilities they don't. And it takes time for the world to catch up to your vision. That's why you must be patient. Don't let small minds talk you out of big dreams. Don't let one closed door convince you the house is locked. There are other doors, better ones, if you keep moving. I have learned that sometimes rejection is protection. It protects you from entering partnerships that would have failed. It protects you from going down roads that look good now but lead to destruction. It redirects you towards something more aligned with your purpose, something that will bring not just success but fulfillment. Every time I was rejected, I later discovered that something better was waiting. Not because I deserved it more, but because I kept going long enough to find it. In business, in life, in relationships, you will face rejection. That's a guarantee. But you have to decide what that rejection will mean for you. Will it be your excuse or will it be your reason? Will it cause you to stop or will it give you the reason to start again stronger? People will doubt you, overlook you, misunderstand you, but that is not your problem. Your job is not to be accepted by everyone. Your job is to believe in yourself enough that even when others say no, you still say yes to your dream. When you understand that rejection is part of the redirection, you stop fearing it. You welcome it because you know it's part of the journey that shapes you into who you're meant to be. Vision is more powerful than resources. Many people believe that they need a lot of money, connections, or perfect timing to start something meaningful. They wait until conditions are ideal before they move. But those who build extraordinary things don't start with wealth. They start with a vision, a clear, burning picture of a future that doesn't exist yet, but must. Vision is what separates dreamers from doers. It's what keeps you going when the money runs out, when the doors don't open, when no one claps for you. It's the internal fire that guides you through storms, setbacks, and silence. It's the voice that says, "This is possible," even when everything around you says it's not. When I started Alibaba, I didn't have any resources. I wasn't rich. I didn't have a strong technical background. I didn't know much about the internet. But I had a vision of empowering small businesses across China and connecting them with the world through technology. That vision was so clear to me that I could see it in my mind like a movie. I could feel it. I could hear the conversations. I could imagine the lives that would change. And even though people laughed at the idea, even though investors said it would never work, I knew it would, because I saw it long before anyone else could. Resources are important, but they are not the foundation. Vision is the foundation. If you start with vision, you will find a way to gather resources. You will attract the right people. You will earn trust. You will create momentum. But if you start with resources and no vision, you will waste them. Because resources without direction lead to confusion. Vision gives you direction. It gives meaning to the sacrifices, to the struggles, to the sleepless nights. It gives you clarity when things get hard, and they will get hard. Many entrepreneurs fail not because they lack money, but because they lack vision. They chase money without a deeper reason, without a deeper picture of what they're building. So when challenges come, and they always come, they quit because there is nothing pulling them forward. But when you have a vision, challenges become part of the process. They don't scare you, they strengthen you. You begin to see obstacles not as stop signs, but as opportunities to prove how badly you want it. Vision gives you the fuel to keep moving even when your tank feels empty. The most powerful people in the world, those who have built empires, changed industries, disrupted systems, they all started with a vision. They saw something no one else saw, and they refused to let it go. That vision gave them the courage to start, the resilience to continue, and the creativity to solve problems along the way. It gave them purpose beyond profit. Purpose is what makes vision powerful. Vision tied to purpose becomes unstoppable. In my early days, I shared my vision with friends. Some didn't understand it. Some walked away. Some stayed and believed. I gathered 17 people in my apartment, and we built something not because we had funding or expertise, but because we had belief. We had a vision that was greater than our fear, stronger than our doubt. That vision was enough to move us, and movement is everything. Vision without action is just imagination. But vision with action, even imperfect action, starts to create momentum. And momentum attracts people, attention, resources. It creates a wave you can ride. You don't need all the answers to begin. You just need a clear picture of what you want to build and the courage to take the first step. Vision allows you to see the invisible, and that's what makes the impossible possible. While others are focused on their limitations, vision helps you focus on your possibilities. It keeps your eyes forward, your heart engaged, and your mind open to creative solutions. You begin to see doors that others miss. to hear ideas others overlook, to connect dots others ignore. If you wait for resources to show up before you begin, you will miss your moment. But if you begin with a bold vision, the resources will come. People are drawn to clarity, to purpose, to conviction. They want to follow someone who knows where they're going. Your vision doesn't have to make sense to everyone. It just has to be real to you. It has to be strong enough to survive doubt, delay, and difficulty. It has to be something you're willing to protect, even when others try to pull you away from it. Because vision is not just an idea, it's a responsibility. And when you carry it with belief, nothing can stop you from bringing it to life. Your mindset will always determine your money, not the other way around. The way you think, the way you view challenges, and the way you process failure will always shape your financial success more than the money you start with. Too many people believe that if they had more money, they could build something great. But the truth is, money without the right mindset is wasted potential. A poor mindset will sabotage wealth, while a powerful mindset will attract it, multiply it, and sustain it. The foundation of wealth is mental, not material. If your thoughts are small, your world will remain small, regardless of how much money passes through your hands. When I was broke, I realized I had to fix how I thought before I could fix my financial condition. I had to stop thinking like a victim and start thinking like a builder. I had to stop blaming my circumstances and start taking responsibility for my future. That shift in thinking changed everything. I started to see problems as opportunities. I started to value learning over comfort. I started to surround myself with people who thought big, who challenged me to grow, who refused to let me stay the same. That mental environment created the energy and vision that eventually led to financial breakthroughs. The reason most people never become wealthy isn't because they don't work hard. It's because they never change their mindset about money. They think money is evil, or they believe they don't deserve it. They think wealth is only for the lucky or the privileged. But money follows value. If you create value, if you solve problems, if you think creatively and act courageously, money will eventually find you. But none of that is possible with a mindset filled with fear, doubt, or excuses. One of the most powerful shifts in mindset is going from a consumer to a creator. Most people are trained to spend, to consume whatever the world offers. But creators think differently. They ask, what can I build? What can I offer? What can I produce that solves a real problem? That shift opens the door to wealth. It doesn't matter what field you're in, when you become a problem solver, you become valuable. And money always follows value. I've seen people with no college degrees, no wealthy family, and no technical skills go on to build successful businesses. And I've seen people with elite education and big salaries stay stuck for years. The difference was never the money. It was always the mindset. One group believed they could grow, so they took risks, learned from failure, and kept improving. The other believed success was limited, so they stayed safe, feared mistakes, and played small. Your mindset is the lens through which you see the world. Change that lens, and everything around you begins to change. Even when I had nothing, I trained my mind to think big. I visualized the future I wanted. I studied leaders. I learned how to communicate better, how to negotiate, how to stay calm under pressure. I focused on skills that would multiply my value in the world. That's what mindset does. It gives you a reason to grow when there's no money yet. It gives you a purpose deeper than profit, and that purpose fuels everything else. Some people say they want success, but their mindset is still operating in survival mode. They're afraid to take risks. They're afraid of what others will think. They doubt themselves before the world even has a chance to. And that doubt creates hesitation. That hesitation kills momentum. Momentum is everything when you're building something new. A strong mindset creates confidence, and confidence creates momentum. You don't have to know every step before you start. You just need to believe you're capable of figuring it out. Money is a reflection. It reflects your habits, your discipline, your vision, your value, and most importantly, your mindset. If your mindset is rooted in growth, resilience, gratitude, and action, Wealth becomes a byproduct of who you are, not just something you chase. But if your mindset is rooted in fear, limitation, and scarcity, no amount of money will ever feel like enough. You'll always feel behind. You'll always feel like something is missing because you haven't done the internal work first. The most important investment you can ever make is not in the stock market, real estate, or business. It's in your own mind. Read more. Learn from those who've done what you want to do. Train your thoughts to support your goals. Remove beliefs that no longer serve you. Upgrade the conversations you have, not just with others, but with yourself. Because until your mindset shifts, your money won't. But once your mind is right, the external results will always follow.